So Love is Blind, they had the last episode where people got married or didn't get married, and then they had the reunion. And so first let's go in with SK and Raven, because when we left before, Raven was crying and all upset and didn't get married because SK said he did not.
Right.
We find out that they are together, they're dating, they are not married, but they're dating and they're quote unquote in love. He is in California and she's in Dallas and they're in a long distance relationship. I'm not feeling SK. Okay, I don't care what anybody says. I am not feeling him. I do not like someone who does not put in as much as he wants in return. And I do not like a man thinking that he is a king unless he treats his woman like a queen. And in this situation, it's all about what he wants. And I'm not feeling it. Raven, I liked Raven so much more than what I initially thought I was going to like this woman, because the way they presented her in the beginning was someone that wasn't very thoughtful, that appeared to be very superficial, and that didn't seem to be as emotional, caring, and thoughtful. She's all those things. And maybe she knows something that we don't know about SK. And if he's the right person for her, I wish her all the luck in the world. But to me, she deserves a loving, kind, giving man. And if that's SK, good. But if not, move on. There's plenty out there that are waiting for you.
Yeah, I
What are
agree.
your thoughts on
No,
SK and Raven, Mom?
they're very similar. I was surprised that they were together because she seemed so hurt, and I can't imagine what he said to her that made her feel that she could trust him. Because I wouldn't be too ready or too comfortable because trust you got to sort of build, and he kind of destroyed whatever level of trust she had in him.
Mm-hmm.
And he kind of destroyed that because it was, and her own words are, she was unprepared
Mm-hmm.
for him to say what he said at the altar. And it would take a while for me to believe his words, to believe his behavior. She was unprepared because he didn't give any indication that that's what he was going to say.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why she was so totally unprepared. She thought he was all in,
Mm-hmm.
whatever issues they had, she thought that they could resolve them and they were relatively minor,
Mm-hmm.
and she thought she could trust him. And it would take me a while to feel comfortable with him.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know how she was able to overcome that, or if she decided that she would, continue to see him as they rebuild the trust.
Mm-hmm.
But I would be reluctant to even deal with him with that.
Right.
So I'm not really sure how that all worked out. We're all different, but if we go so far as to get to the altar and you decided that, today wasn't the day, I would think you didn't care that much about me.
Mm-hmm.
I would think that, well, even if he's not 100% sure, nobody is ever 100% sure unless you're really
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you're always going to have some level of apprehension, but you say, I'm going to give it a chance. I
Mm-hmm.
care enough and we're going to walk this walk and see, how it goes. I'm willing to jump all in and let's go. But he didn't. And they were already and everything was already done, and it's at that point he said, no, because this and that, and she's not willing to move, and then this is not willing to that. I mean, what are they doing now?
All right.
Just what is that? We'll see each other. And then when we decide, is he going to want to move to Dallas or is she going to want to go to California at the end of what? A year or two when he finishes off his
It
master's.
is 2 years,
I
according to
mean,
him.
okay, so let's say 2 years. What happens at the end of 2 years? I mean, they could be totally going in different directions by then. We all know that. But let's just say if they're still together. So what's going to happen? Is she going to have her clients over there because she physically, has clients and she physically has physical contact with her.
Yeah,
In-person contact, right? So, she couldn't go there and build, another client base or whatever. Or well, I guess he can't come because of school, the school thing. And he couldn't go to school. What is he going to school for? Why couldn't he go to school online? What is he getting his degree, his
I
master's
don't
in?
know. something. Is it data engineering? I'm not 100% sure.
Nah, no, me
But
neither. There's so many things you can do online.
but like I said, most people in their mid-30s that are going back to school are working full time and not necessarily going to school full time, and all
Or
of the
doing
stuff,
both.
or doing both, and most of them are doing both.
Right.
And so the way and I didn't understand why he felt it was a good time to say I want to get married. That to me,
Yeah,
is just
right.
like a big question mark.
Right. And unless there was just a presumption that whoever it was just going to be so, just start swooning over him and just get up and move.
Right.
Unless that was his thinking.
And so I don't know. I look at him, with the side eye, but I'm, hopeful for Raven. I know
Yeah.
Listen, Raven, she can find another man.
Oh yeah.
In 5 minutes.
Yeah, very quickly. Right there in the same room, evidently.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
So since you're going, well, no, I'm gonna leave them probably for last. Let's go to another couple, Alexa and Brennan. I don't have much to say about them because they kind of seemed like they were compatible. The only issue with her was we didn't know about her because she seemed to be a little bit more superficial than we would, just think in general.
Right.
And he seemed to be like real like laid back and
Yeah.
low key, but they seem to complement each other. And I think that
something that struck me about her, and this may be an odd thing, but what struck me about her is when she said she didn't.
Stepmother's 3 years older than her.
No, when she said she didn't, did the father just marry a young woman? No, no, I mean something about her. That's her family.
Sorry.
Seen him?
I think I've seen her father just in general.
Maybe
in person, but go ahead.
Oh yeah, because they're in Dallas.
They're in Dallas.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Okay, so anyhow, but listen, and you may have.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. But anyhow, wait a minute. Here's my thing. When she said somewhere during their little courtship, she was saying she never wore the same thing twice.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, hold it. In the first place, that's not true. Okay, that's not true. Because if she didn't wear the same thing twice, what are those clothes hanging in your closet for? What are they hanging in the closet?
Well, maybe
are they all brand new?
Maybe.
I don't think so. Okay, but anyhow, maybe, but I don't think so.
You can get around that. So
it's a little bit hard, but not impossible, a little difficult. Yeah. But here's the thing. Hold on. Maybe that really is her thing. Maybe she really doesn't. Not that she's necessarily lying, although I'm suspicious. Mm-hmm. But here's the thing. You take the clothes back.
Yeah, when she said
that made me think.
Look at her.
She's classless. She's classless. Yeah. That's wrong. That's a wrong move. Yeah. People with a lot of money, you don't wear it and purposely. You may return stuff because you really don't like it or you finicky. Right. But if you just wearing stuff and you always taking it back, you are classless.
But
that's class.
Not even class. Let me not even go with classless because people who do that normally just don't have the money. That's where I'm coming from.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean.
That's not like
the whole thing. She's broke, but they
have money. Mm-hmm. So that's on her.
But she's classless because that's virtually
because they live in Highland Park. Mm-hmm. They look.
She acted that she was classless. Okay, that was my thing. Because I'm going with it. I'm going with it because you just a beat. That's a beat. You're trying to get something for nothing. You just a beat. That's a beat. That's
I like that you said that because the reason why I'm
telling you that's no less funny
because they have money. That would make it worse. I respect it better if you don't have money.
Well, yeah, but then you know you do. Right then you know you. But wait a minute, and then how often? Pretty soon, if you start taking stuff back and back and back all the time to the same store, they're not going to deal with you no more. They're not making no money from you.
Right.
They're not going to keep dealing with you. Right. So something about what she was saying is not right.
Yeah.
You don't take everything back to the store. It's going to be in a minute. They're going to be cutting up your credit card.
Right.
They're gonna be like, no, wait a minute, we ain't got nothing to lose with this person because she ain't never spending no money.
Right.
And she's and some of them times she's doing something to some of our clothes.
Yeah.
No. You can't keep doing that. How many stores you gonna do before you burn that out?
Right.
So it wasn't
something was a little bit off. I respect you on that.
She returned it.
Okay. Matt and Colleen.
Yeah.
Okay. So I talked to you about this the other day when I was on when I was on the treadmill. Okay.
What?
I I hope Matt is different than what he portrayed on the TV.
Oh yeah.
Because I didn't feel that Colleen looked happy. Because she had like and initially she was somebody that was a little bit annoying because, oh, I'm a ballerina. Oh, I'm flexible. Oh, this. Oh, they just care about me because of how I look. Oh, but I'm not really deep. Like all the things that she said, which just didn't make any sense for a person who wants to get married.
And you
Because
know,
when
and
you
I
get
know,
married, you need to be deep.
right?
Okay.
And you know, and I know that there wasn't nothing all that fantastic about her look.
Right. But whatever about that. But then I saw her on the reunion and Matt seeing his energy hovering over her. I didn't like it. I didn't feel like that was like, oh, comforting and loving. I
You
felt
thought he was controlling
and intimidating.
Right, right.
And she didn't come across as like fun and just like the person that
Her spirit was dampened.
yeah. And that listen, I hope I'm just like saying something that's not right. Look, this is my opinion.
Well, there's something else, but see, there's another thing that you didn't mention that I know contributed to your opinion.
What?
When they went out that night and it was like 2 or 3 o'clock and she was all out with the girls or whatever it was, and they was having their little parties and whatever they were doing, he was throwing a fit.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Where is she? It's 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning and she's not answering her phone and she wasn't out by herself. You remember?
She's out with the girls,
having out with other people.
Yeah,
but why was he the one acting like that? Weren't somebody else missing too?
Right.
Weren't some of those other women missing too? It wasn't just her.
Right.
And she wasn't out with the fellas.
Well, I think it's what is it? PTSD for him?
Well, maybe it is.
Maybe, but
isn't that a lot on her?
That's a lot on her.
That's a lot on her.
And I'm just gonna say this. To each his own. And we know that I got married at a young age.
The first time.
The first time.
Mm-hmm.
Very young age, still teenager. Anyway, I don't advise people to go on a show to get married in their 20s. Have fun, enjoy life.
Right.
And see what happens.
Right.
Not saying that you can't fall in love and you can't get married in your 20s, but don't think that it's a big deal.
Right. Don't feel any urgency.
Right.
Let that be your time to explore.
It's 20s is time to explore.
Right.
If you get in your 30s and want to do it, totally fine. 20s, your brain is still developing for the first half of your 20s. Okay.
Yeah.
And have fun. Those are the hoe stages. If you want to be a hoe, some people are never a hoe, but if you want to be, to me, right now,
that's your time to really
stretch out. But
stretch out, stretch out and experiment, right, and experiment and experience,
right,
right.
So that's just what I have to say about that. Let's talk about 2 other couples that had some issues. Let's go in with Cole and Zanab. Okay. I'm just going to start this and you can continue it. I actually walked away feeling bad for Cole.
Yeah, because Cole was up there crying like a baby.
He was crying like a baby. He was dealing with Zanab, and Zanab didn't need to be on this show. Zanab has a lot of issues.
Too many insecurities.
But listen, both of her parents are gone at an early
age. She lost both of her parents, right?
She was a minor.
Yeah.
And I think she's still dealing with that, and she'll deal with that forever. But I don't know that she has the right coping skills to deal with it.
And because she seemed like she was addressing abandonment issue. Because anything you said to her, she felt like, right,
angry.
She overreacted to everything.
Stories. And she said things that just didn't happen.
We're not aware that it happened.
And they put it on, like at the end. Remember the cuties thing, and how she was saying that he was trying to say that she was too big or the bolus of the stuff. And all he said was for her, not to eat too much because we're going out
to dinner. We're going to have a big dinner.
And she incorporated that as to make it seem that he was trying to say that she was needed to lose weight, and that's
And
not
you
what he was coming
and
from.
she was saying, "Oh, those things weren't on the show." She really attacked him.
Mhm.
Listen, she sort of attacked him at the altar
Yeah.
because she said to him, instead of just saying, "No, I don't think we can make it," or just bow out gracefully and go ahead, whatever. She stood at the altar and said, "You have disrespected me, and you have done and done," and she was like greeting him at the altar.
Right.
And when people don't come together, it's not usually like that.
Right.
You might have them doing a reading if it's a cheating situation, or something where they're just hysterical and just, whatever. But you don't have them, like with their list of complaints about you standing at the altar telling you.
Her. And I feel bad because
I don't believe her because she tried to act like when they had the episode where she came in and she jumped on him about, oh, this chicken looks too white and you're doing this and you're a bad cook and and he was all playful and in a good mood and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
And she came in and she dampened the spirits of everybody in that room.
Yeah.
It was just terrible. It was just terrible.
It was real terrible. So, it didn't reflect well on her, but I also think Zanab needs, some therapy. And Cole needs somebody to hug him because Cole was not as bad as she tried
to make him seem right. He really just was a little flirtatious with Colleen and that was for 5 minutes and he didn't actually ask her. He never did say, "Oh, come on, let's me and you go for a drink." And half of them we've seen on some of these shows, they'll be out, leave the woman and go ahead out with somebody else.
Right.
We've seen all this type of stuff happen.
Right.
So
so I'm glad that they did not get married,
right.
Obviously.
But one thing, Cole, he's I don't mean to sound superficial, but Lord knows he's a good looking guy. He's a real cutie pie, so man, he'll find somebody else. Yeah.
To me, he needed a hug.
He needed a hug right then.
Too.
In a
different way.
Yeah, right.
It's too hard on him.
Right.
Way too hard.
Well, he needed a hug
off.
Right.
And then there's a way to just try to demean them.
Right.
And that's where she
was going for the jugular. Yeah. He needed a hug right there in the moment, but she needs ongoing, consistent, long term. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Our last couple, Bartise and Nancy. So a couple things with them, and I know you won't go in on this.
No.
So Bartise and Nancy, y'all both, look nice and everything. I don't know what type of hairdo y'all were going for in this episode. I thought both of y'all it was a joke. And I like to play around with that because I feel like physical appearance is not the main thing. So I'm joking about that. However, Bartise came across very piggish throughout the series and in this episode. Didn't like the way he dealt with Nancy's family after he said no. To me, he wasn't very respectful. To me, Bartise had no business on this show. Still is a horny man out looking for
a horny 25-year-old,
the next cooch. Okay,
right,
and that's totally normal and fine to do.
Mm-hmm.
Don't say I'm ready to get married.
Mm-hmm.
Nancy is at this stage of the game 32 years old, wanting to have babies, wanting to have a family, plenty of time for her to do all those things, but a waste of time for her to do it on someone like Bartise. And she knew that from the beginning. He pretty much put that out there when he started talking about Raven. And Raven wasn't even like hearing. She was not trying to hear anything that Bartise had to say. And Nancy, all the things that he said to you as an educated woman, you ignored them, push forward, and then you sit here and you say, "Oh, I can't believe you." Really? We all could predict that he was going to say no. How could you not predict that, seeing him up front and hearing the things that he said? Don't know where you were coming from. The abortion issue, I'm going to just be all transparent about all that stuff. I am pro woman. I am pro choice.
Yep.
Didn't like the way Nancy framed things as a speech pathologist. I didn't like it, but whatever the case is, I am pro woman and pro choice. Okay. Bartise, he not really sure the way what he felt or what he believed in, but I felt Nancy came across as not being understanding, and I also thought that she just bulldozed ahead when a man is telling her, "I'm not really that attracted to you anymore. My family isn't really feeling you anymore." Da, 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 da. What are your thoughts, Ma, on Bartise and Nancy?
Listen, one thing stuck with me throughout their, relationship. Nancy and Bartise, the two of them were alone, and they were having a conversation, and Bartise was expressing some of his, different reservations. And this was very early on, he was expressing how he felt, and some reservations we had in there. And he said to Nancy, "Don't you? We've only known each other, this or that, blah, blah, blah."
Yeah.
And she said, "No, I just want you."
Okay.
"No, I just want you." And that's what she said. And she was giggling. She had the giggles forever.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, she was giggling
like
like
she's a teenager.
She was giggling like a goofy-ass teenager, not just a teenager, but a goofy one. She was laughing, and "I just want you." And she said that.
Once she's 30, you can't do that anymore.
That's right.
You can't. Even if you want to.
Right, because now you come across as just food.
Right.
Okay, so she told him she just wanted him, and she wasn't feeling none of his reservations and concerns about anything. She just wanted him. And the camera did a close-up. Okay? The camera did a close-up of Bartise's face. And he had just a quizzical look on his face, like, "Yeah, is that it?" I'm telling you. Okay. And I said to myself, well, Nancy, that might not be the best attitude to have in this situation.
Right.
You just want him. Do you the hell know him?
All
Do
right.
you know even what you get?
He doesn't want you.
And he doesn't
want
you. He was voicing his reservations.
He doesn't
and
want
he
you.
said, "Don't you have some,
no
concern?" She said, "I just want you." And she never veered from that. She did not deviate from that one step of the way.
Right.
Her behavior stayed on that.
And I hate to say this as a woman, you gotta be smarter than the man, okay? As a woman, you unfortunately smart ass. When I say that, meaning you can't let your emotions overtake your common sense, okay? You can't do that. And then her being older, she should have known better. She's not old. It's and listen, it's totally fine with the age gap. It's not like a big deal. But if a person is telling you, "I'm not attracted to you, I have all these reservations, I'm attracted to somebody else," okay, I don't think I need to marry this person. This is not my person. Let me move on.
Right. Or how about this? "I fully understand your reservations. Let me see. Let's go through this process and let's just see where it goes. Let's just see where it goes. Not, I only want you. I just want you." No, I don't know that. I don't know that I want you at all. I don't know that yet.
Ma, that was a good talk on Love is Blind. Interesting series. I'm sorry, interesting season.
Yeah.
Only 2 of them actually got married. Half decided they were going to move forward. We'll see.
Well, we'll see what that all is. Right.
Thanks for watching. Please subscribe and check out full episodes of the Bambushi Happy Hour podcast, streaming on most platforms.